And it goes. Yorke! Yes! He gets it! That's what the fans came to see!
Dwight, first question, how difficult is it to leave all this behind?
Very difficult. The last couple of days, it's been extremely hard. I'm saying goodbyes to some people who I obviously become very close to and who are actually my friend in Australia here. And the time has finally come, and that's for me is the most difficult thing.
Do you leave with fond memories or even some regrets? What's your feeling?
I've got nothing bad to say about Australia, the people, the people who's been very supportive about Sydney FC. I have no bitterness towards anybody or being malicious towards anyone. I'm just disappointed that I didn't get to see my contract through. And for me that is pretty much the difficult thing. But on a whole, I can't really complain. This place is magnificent without going over the top. The food, the people are very warm and welcoming around here. Where I live here is absolutely tremendous. The weather is great. There is not anything bad to say about Australia, and as I said, it's just a bit sad to see it ended the way it did.
I suppose by regrets, I meant really some of your views that you've put out there in the media over the last few days. You've been pretty strident in your criticisms, not only of Sydney FC, but also of the Hyundai A-League itself. Do you regret any of those comments?
No, I always live and die by my comments. You know, I learn over the years. I've made mistakes along the way, and I have to live with those things. And the one thing I'm very honest about is I'm true to my word. You know, and if I say something, that's what I think. You know, I don't say to hurt or to be regretful of leaving Sydney. That's not the point. The point is that whatever I said on that particular time, I meant it. And whether along the way, if it means hurting people, that's just how it is. But I have no regrets. I got no regrets in terms of what sort of statement I've made to the press or to anybody, as a matter of fact.
It's Dwight Yorke! What about that?
There have been reports in the media, rightly or wrongly, that Sydney wanted to offer you an extended contract, perhaps on lower money. Was that the case? And if it was, would you have accepted?
Well, it certainly would have made me think about it. But it's all good in hindsight now, saying that was the rumours or that's been said. And if it has been said, it certainly wasn't mentioned to me, nor my agent. But as I say, that's not my department, and I'm sure everyone knows how much I've become of this place. You know, I wouldn't have made the effort of bringing my car down here and stuff like that, which arrives in 3 days. I wouldn't be able to drive it, but because I'll be gone by then by the time the car arrived. But I wouldn't have gone through all the hassle if I had any inclination that I was going to be leaving the country.
It's clear that you obviously love Sydney and you love Australia, you love the people, the culture, the food, the weather. What about the game itself in Australia? What impressions do you leave Australia with in terms of the Hyundai A-League and the game in Australia?
I think the game, obviously, there's room for improvement. Everyone knows that. It's fairly new to the world. And for the players' sake and for the league's sake, that I hope that this continue to strive in the right direction. I think the lead was reasonably successful last year, and they need to make some changes, obviously, to improve that.
What sort of changes?
I think bringing in other marquee players to the clubs, so the players can look up to and understand what professionalism is all about and what it takes to be a top player, and try and guide the young players in the right direction, and hopefully they can learn from you as a person. So that's one respect of bringing. That's why a marquee player, or even as go as far as probably 2 marquee players, to pump the league, to get the league the recognition that it deserves. And don't get me wrong, the league has made enormous amount of stride and effort in trying to get the league with the level of AFL and the rugby of this world and the cricket in this world, to be on the same level. I just feel like the need to improve in that department. But from a footballer point of view, the league is fine, and there are talented players here without a doubt. And of course, as I said, there's still just room for improvement, so they can understand the philosophy of how professionalism do perform at the very top.
Just before we let you go, Dwight, let's just ask you one or two questions more specifically about Sydney FC. Your relationship with Terry Butcher, was that good, and is he the man for Sydney FC, do you think?
I don't know if he's the man or not. That only time will tell. Obviously, you'll be judging results and performances. He's got a really hard act to follow in terms of retaining the championship, which is never going to be easy in the second time round. The one thing I can say, he's got a fantastic bunch of players who I get to obviously know pretty much over the year. And these guys wants to be winners. They realize that, you know, what it takes to win. They understand winning the championship, how important and vital that was for Sydney FC. And they know it's another battle to try and retain that again this year. But as I said, I'm wishing the boys the best, wish the team well, wish Terry Butcher well, wish Sydney FC as a whole great deal of success. And I keep one eye on the ball and make sure that checking up on these boys from time to time.
And if you had to pick one of the younger stars, obviously there are a few good young kids at Sydney FC, David Carney, Mark Milligan, Jacob Timpano. Which one of those players would you say would go on to have, you know, a huge career in the shape of a Tim Cahill or a Harry Kewell perhaps?
These guys, all the names that you mentioned, is pretty talented guys. And this is the one thing they don't understand, how to be professional. Yes, you should go out, yes, you should enjoy yourself, but there are times when you have to work. And that's why I say bringing in a marquee player to show them what it takes to be a top professional footballer. And I don't think they quite understand that. They have all the ability, all the, you know, the ins and outs of being a footballer from day to day, but they don't have the discipline to go to the gym, to stay back and do the extra bit that they all need to do. You know, I'm 35 and yet I'm one of the last person on the football pitch, and that shouldn't be like that. You should have younger players wanting to stay back, wanting to do extras, wants to come in, wants to be super fit. And sometimes I don't get the impression that way from some of these players. I'm not saying they're bad professional by any means or not. All I'm saying is that by having a marquee player who knows how to be a professional footballer, what it takes, so these players can all understand. But yeah, they all have great future in the game.
Ball in for Yorke. It's Dwight Yorke!
Okay, put your head on the block. Who would you get if you were Terry Butcher or the board at Sydney FC to replace Dwight Yorke?
You know what? I haven't even thought about it. And that's the honest truth, because I just haven't got over the fact that I'm not going to be here. So in terms of thinking of somebody else coming to replace me, I've not accepted that yet. And it probably take me a little while before I've actually accepted. So I haven't got a clue, and I just hope that they do find the right person that could give the league that extra boost that it needs.
Okay, final question, Dwight. Do you have a message for the fans, the Sydney FC fans, the fans in the Cove that so loved your displays over the last 12 months? What would you say to them?
I just want to thank everybody who's been very supportive of me, and the players, the staff, of course. It's just been a wonderful experience being in Sydney. The fans have gone out the way to certainly make me feel welcome, and all the English songs and all the make me feel at home. And I really haven't got a bad thing to say, apart from wishing everybody all the best. I think that the guys behind closed doors, or the guys behind the scene, who I consider the guys behind the scene, the Stan, the Ian Crook, the Joey, the Anthony, these guys are phenomenal people. Jimmy, but all these guys are phenomenal people, want to do well, understand what it takes. And sometimes the people behind the scene don't get credit for what they deserve. But I just wanted to mention that, so thanks for everything, guys. Thanks for having me here. It's been a wonderful experience in working with some of the guys who become my friend, and certainly will be staying in contact with all these people. And yeah, it's just been a wonderful experience, and I can't thank you enough for having me here, and you just never know what may happen down the road in the future.